Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. I guess I forgot to do that. Anyways, how's everybody doing tonight? We are we're gonna give people a few minutes to get in here. While we're doing that, I'll put some music on, take care of something real quick, and then probably get started soon here. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's see, we're at 3 minute mark here. So I guess it would be a good time to go over. Anyways, with that out of the way now. So um, so basically, here's what's on tap for tonight. I'm gonna do kind of a CBR wrap up where I'm gonna go over. I'm just gonna read over some articles from CBR at random. Covering different neat areas of niche news, anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. We'll of course have the wrestling wrap up a little later on, and then of course this day in each history. So that's basically the plan for tonight here. Hopefully we'll have some more people show up soon. Um, and with that, let's see. And I think the person dropped a like and a share there. Do appreciate that. Hopefully we get some more people here, and of course people seeing on the replay. So, all right. All right. So, anyways, all right. So, kind of went over what we're up to tonight. So, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Probably starting with some anime articles. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to join in on the conversation. Also, if anything here we talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will try to answer the questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that, let's go ahead and go in here. All right, so here's an interesting little profile piece here. The practical reasons behind anime characters announcing their attacks. It's common for anime characters to announce their attacks before performing them. Here's why they do it. Article by Sarah Martin, published a day ago. So we know this, of course, from Dragon Ball, from My Hero Academia. Like, well, let's see, you got My Hero Academia right there, and Demon Slayer as their examples there. But we see it in we've seen it in a number of shonen. We've even seen it in shonen like Bleach, Naruto, not Attack on Titan, but a few of them. So, anyways, it may not seem practical for an anime character to announce their attacks before performing them. After all, it's basically like advertising their next move to their opponent. If their foe has previously seen the attack, it's not much of a surprise. Nonetheless, calling out one's attacks is one of the most common tropes in anime, especially battle shonen series like Dragon Ball Z and My Hero Academia. Launching a powerful attack isn't enough in many series, seeing as so many of the characters also have cool sounding names to yell out as they're lunging into it. It almost seems like announcing the attack names makes the attacks themselves more powerful or effective. Well, I mean, there is that added, dramatic element to it. So it's not like entirely, offbeat there. Um, Anyways, continuing on here. However, though it might appear impractical, there are a few sound reasons for it. It actually has a realistic basis. Considering many martial arts practices believe that vocalizing while attacking builds up one's energy levels, making the attack stronger. If any of you've taken any kind of martial arts, like particularly karate or kung fu, this is emphasized with the yelling of "Kia! Kia!" That's kind of what they're talking about right there. Let's see. Moreover, passing down techniques with specific names through generations is commonplace in many traditional schools of martial arts. In anime, this may be the case since many attacks are grounded in principle of mindfulness about how much energy is being exerted and where it's being directed. Basically, the idea of using different animes, different cartoons have used different names for it. Aura energy, chi energy, life energy, spirit energy, that kind of thing. Let's see. Well, just look at Yusuke Urameshi Spirit Gun in Yu Yu Hakusho, right? He's gathering energy, a lot of times just in his finger, just to shoot a single spirit bullet at his target. Spirit Gun. It also has the cinematic appeal of exciting both the characters and the audience for what's to come in the battle, as many attacks have memorable names like Deku's full cowling, Deku's full cowling, or Tanjiro's Hinokami Kagura. Spirit Gun! Spirit Bomb! 8 trigrams! Rasengan! Among the many. Attack announcements are synonymous with battle cries. In a narrative sense, announcing attacks helps strengthen a fight scene and further immerse viewers. During particularly climactic moments, hearing a character announce their next big attack against a villain before performing it helps the audience get excited about what's to come. The announcement is usually accompanied by the series battle music or character theme, like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when Jotaro brings out Star Platinum and announces what it'll do next. His theme song plays in the background amid a barrage of punches that follow. Yep, and I'm sure many of us have probably seen that, right? You ever watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, any incarnation of it? Jason Myers here. What's your favorite Jisatsu? I have no idea what Jisatsu means. So, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream and see if we can get some more friendly people in here, get in on the conversation. That'd be appreciated. Also, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Let's see. It wouldn't make sense in some series to perform the attack without loudly crying out its name. Most anime attack names are concise and memorable, like Deku and All Might's United States of Smash and everything under its umbrella, or all of the stand names in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. However, some of the more ridiculous and long-winded names include Charlotte's Ultimate Technique, Stunning Charlotte, Jewelhorn's Miracle Street, Ultra Funky, Fantastic, Dramatic, Romantic, Sadistic, Erotic, Exotic, Athletic, Guillotine Attack, and Bleach. Oh, man. That is a pretty long, ridiculous name. Oh, boy. Man, it's almost like, okay, that's one of those attacks that you almost think it's not even worth it to even use, because it's like by the time she finishes saying every single word, she'd probably been hit 2 or 3 times already. Sounds like an attack you couldn't necessarily get off with such a incredibly long name. And Jack's tyrannic, blazing, roaring, dragon, exploding, flash, demon, god, air, cleaving, Rakan punch in Negima. Okay. Perhaps the most famous example was when Krillin cried out, Kamehameha! During the 22nd tournament Interestingly, Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, admitted that he's not a fan of the trope because it's so impractical and that in real life, someone would get killed in the time it takes them to blurt out their attack name. However, there's a practical explanation for why characters do it in anime, given that many of them are based on manga. Attack announcements help make sense of crowded battle scenes. Compared to anime adaptation, manga is obviously less colorful. Trying to keep up with all the action on a page rather than an animated visual is a bit harder. So yelling out attack names um, helps the reader make sense of who's attacking and who and where the fight is happening. This is useful in a crowded battle scenes because characters get lost in the mix. Though it may not be necessary for anime adaptations. The battle cries are carried over from the manga to ensure a faithful adaptation of the source material. Hmm. When done correctly, the anime adaptation usually makes these pivotal climactic moments of any battle that show when the character has been pushed too far and is ready to unleash their most potent attack. Like the Rasen Shuriken. However, some fans are understandably annoyed by the trope. It's exciting to hear a character announce their biggest attack the first time, but rather redundant by the 50th. Yeah, good point. Still, this trope now has such a stronghold on not only Battle Shonen series, but also Magical Girl anime and even certain mecha titles that it seems as though it's become all but mandatory. Hmm. Well, that might be true there. Might have a legit point there. All right, so getting ready to move on to see what else we can find here. Let's see now. 18 minutes, okay. Oh, here's a well, let's see. Let me make sure this doesn't have any quote unquote spoilers. Let's see, does it have any spoiler warnings here? No. Okay. I think we can go ahead and okay. So, Bochi the Rock versus Zombieland Saga, which is the better starving artist anime? Bochi the Rock and Zombieland Saga both explore the struggles of young musicians trying to make it big in showbiz. Which does it better? Art, article by Louis Kenmer, published a day ago. Musical anime series are as popular as ever, with idols being a prominent focus in musical anime, including the semi-satire series Zombieland Saga. Satire or not, Zombieland Saga features some truly great idol music in its 2 seasons, with colorful visuals to match. It really feels like going on to a live concert, but for Sakura and her idol friends, it's a real struggle behind that glitzy facade. Zombieland Saga is about the struggles of an obscure, impoverished musical group, something that many real life musicians and artists may relate to. More recently, the surprise smash hit musical anime titled Bochi the Rock features an all girl musical band that's struggling to take off and it's a reflection of each member's insecurities and personal baggage. These two musical anime series can be directly compared to see which best captures the relatable, sympathetic struggles of up and coming artists. Mhm. Now, this obviously they're talking about two music themed animes, but I think you could make the argument that this some of this stuff could be, in any any art medium, whether it be anime, cartoons, comics, or manga. Let's see. Zombieland Saga explores the logistics of Japan's idol industry. Zombieland Saga blends quite a few anime storytelling elements, starting with a fresh zombie twist on the concept of isekai. The Dere Dere protagonist, Sakura Minamoto, gets hit and killed by Truck-kun and ends up not in a fantasy world, but in the realm of the undeath, of undeath and the idol industry. So basically, Zombieland is where they're basically a bunch of zombie idols for a bunch of zombies. That sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? Truck-kun. Oh boy. I guess that's supposed to be a living truck. It's a whole new life, and it's also Sakura's only real chance to realize her dream of becoming an idol, albeit a zombie one. Sakura. Now, by the way, Sakura in Japanese means cherry blossom, for those of you who didn't know. So, little tidbit out there for you. Um, Sakura was terrified at first, but then pulled herself together and became a pillar of support for her all zombie idol group. Oh boy, that would be something. Uh, uh, something I'm guessing though that's not how zombie idols actually sound, but I think that's what most people probably would think. Um, let's see. Um, Sakura and her manager Kotaro Tatsumi are both passionate about their new idol group named uh, Franchocho, but almost everything is working against them. Worst of all, Franchocho is trying to make it big in Saga Prefecture, which is actually a terrible place to start a musical group of any kind. Kotaro is determined to put Saga back on the map, but with some money issues, comedic mishaps, a lack of exposure, and the tiresome need to hide the girl's zombie status, it's slow going. Many of their musical concerts become comedic tragedies where tiny audience turnouts, zombie body parts coming off, and even just the weather hold Franchocho back. Yeah, can you imagine? So you're giving a concert to a bunch of zombies. You're a zombie yourself, and you flip up your arms, and oh my god, my forearm just fell off. You got a stub right here, just waving around like crazy. And all of a sudden, your tongue falls out, your ear comes off. That would be quite a scene, I would say. Yikes! Let's see. Despite these many mishaps, Sakura and Kotaro keep giving it their all, and they deliver more than a few pep talks to the other 6 group members. These idols have everything to prove for both Fran Chow Chow and Saga Prefecture itself. And at one point, even Kotaro loses hope until Sakura brings him back from the brink. It's financially, physically, creatively, and emotionally exhausting to keep fighting this uphill musical battle, but Sakura will do it to the bitter end so her undead idol group can realize its dreams and deliver a show the likes of which Saga Prefecture has never seen. Okay. So that's for Zombieland Saga. So I guess now we're going to see some of the high points of Bochi the Rock. All right, so that. Hitori Goto's quest to become a rock star. This is in regards to Bochi the Rock. In contrast to Zombieland Saga, the popular Bochi the Rock anime explored the musical industry in a more intimate and personal, in a more intimate and personal in the fall 2022 anime season. The Dandere protagonist, Hitori Goto, was already a highly skilled musician by episode 1, but extreme shyness and lack of self-confidence held her back. Even when her new friends, Ikuyo, Nijika, and Ryo, supported her as friends and bandmates, Hitori would play inside a large cardboard box to handle her extreme social anxiety during performances. Yeah, that might be a little interesting bit. You're watching somebody on stage and they're just playing from a box. It might be somewhat interesting for a moment. Hitori's bandmates have their individual hangups, including the lively blonde drummer Nijika Iijichi. She used to despise rock bands since they kept her tsundere older sister Seika away from her, and she felt terribly lonely, especially after her mother died. Then Nijika saw how hard Seika was working at the Story Club to make it big in the music industry, and Nijika was inspired to keep practicing the drums and form her own band. On a more humorous note, the Kundere, Ryo Yamada, keeps borrowing money to afford new musical instruments, accessories, to the point where she can't afford proper meals and simply eats weeds she finds outdoors. Oh boy. Wow. Talk about making sacrifices for your art. All 4 girls must also contend with many typical challenges for a new band, such as agreeing on a band name, deciding who the leader is, getting exposure, designing merchandise, earning money from performances to keep the whole enterprise going. And again, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, seeing if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything grabs your attention here, feel free to comment and or ask questions. and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. So, which musical anime has a more relatable struggle for starting artists? Zombieland Saga and Bocchi the Rock are both highly entertaining musical anime with lovable all-girl bands and some terrific music and comedy. Let's see. However, when it comes to the heroic struggle of starving artists, Zombieland Saga does it better. Bocchi the Rock is mostly about personal drama, comedy, and quote unquote cute girls doing cute things. Um, Zombieland Saga dives more deeply into the logistics of running a band and scales things up far beyond the scope of playing in a single club. Let's see. Zombieland Saga's main characters are often shown practicing their dance routines, for example, and they must design and make their own outfits for performances, um, which is always a challenge. Their Fran Chow Chow band is often desperate for exposure, cash, and opportunities, to the point that they'll perform in goofy ads in wacky chicken costumes simply because it's paying work. Fran Chow Chow also suffered a mortal blow when their big concert was a bust, and then they struggled against a tropical storm to put on a new performance in the same massive stadium. At the last moment, a legion of Fran Chow Chow's loyal fans showed up despite the miserable post storm weather, and it was the musical success of an undead lifetime. It was a long overdue victory for the struggling idol group, ending season 2 of Zombieland Saga on a euphoric note. All right, that's pretty. Sounds pretty interesting there. Well, getting ready to move on to the next article then. Let's see. 32-minute mark already. Okay. Oh, let's see what's next here. Let's see. Oh, here's more of an anime adaptation announcement. Pluto anime adaptation lands at Netflix. Pluto, the manga series based on quote unquote the greatest robot on Earth arc from Osamu Tezuka's iconic work of Astro Boy, will make its anime debut in 2023. Pluto, the manga based on the culturally iconic series Astro Boy, is receiving an anime adaptation on Netflix. Anime Netflix announced Naoki Urasawa and Takashi Nagasaki's manga series Pluto will have an anime adaptation and premiere sometime in 2023 on the streaming platform. The trailer features Shinshu Fuji, Yoko Hikasa, and Minori Suzuki, who voice Geist, Adam, and Urine, respectively. Yeah, Adam, I think is just simply I guess the Japanese romanized name of Astro Boy, I believe. I think in Japan it's more literally Astro Boy is more literally translated as Atom Man, I believe, or Mighty Atom, actually. A 4-minute trailer showcases the spectacular animation visuals and a mysterious soundtrack, but there are no voices. Studio M2 will animate the series with Genko as the producer. And I guess there's a tweet about it. According to Anime News Network, Urasawa expressed their excitement about the upcoming adaptation, saying they, quote, applaud the courage of everyone that has taken on the challenge of making anime based on Pluto, unquote. Nagasaki said, um, quote, Pluto inherits the philosophy of Tezuka and does not merely convey a message of anti war, but reminds us that there is suffering on both sides. But still, the only remaining answer is peace, unquote. Makoto Tezuka, who will supervise Pluto and is the son of the late asteroid mangaka Osamu Tezuka, um, added, quote, I can hardly wait to see how this new generation of anime turns out. Unquote. What is Pluto? Pluto adapts, quote, the greatest robot on Earth, unquote, arc from Tezuka's Astro Boy, and reimagines the story as a suspenseful murder mystery starring Guy Gesike, a German robot inspector for Interpol. The story depicts Geist or Gesicht, which translates to face in German, as a humanoid detective rather than a zirconium exterior that is in the original manga series. Gesicht um, must solve a string of robot and human deaths where the killer has shoved objects into the victims' heads, creating makeshift horns. Um, Interesting. However, things get decidedly more complicated when evidence seems to point to a robot being the culprit, um, even though it has been almost a decade since a robot has killed a human. The series ran from September 2003 to April 2009 in Big Comic Original and has 8 tankobon volumes. Urasawa initially pitched the idea for Pluto, intending for someone else to write it, and later on, after encouragement from other people, decided to recreate it himself. Series has sold over 8.5 million volumes and has collected awards and nominations, including the Excellence Prize at the Japan Media Arts Festival in 2005, and garnered critical acclaim for its engaging story and themes of anti-war, peace, hope, and love. Pluto premieres on Netflix in 2023. Alrighty then. There we go. Let's see. All right. All right. So let's see now. So we continue to go over stuff from the. All right. This one looks like. see, I mean, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, we'll go do this one and then. All right, so Naruto, who was the strongest shinobi in each of the great ninja wars? Powerful shinobi from across the world participated in all of the great ninja wars. Who are the strongest shinobi to fight in each of them? Sounds like an interesting profile piece for Naruto fans. Article by Talisha Srivastava, published 12 hours ago. And you see, Madara and Naruto up front there, and then let's see, then you got among the behind, going from right to left there, you got Guy. I think that might be Shizune right there, and then Sai, and then just in front of them, Kiba, or not Kiba, but Akamaru. Lee might be right behind Naruto there. You can see his bowl haircut, but you can't see anything else in there. Got Neji, Hinata, Kakashi, and then Sakura. And then I think they're Konkoro over at the far left there. So, anyways, let's see what this article has to say here. The very premise of Naruto is based on the recurring wars and how they change the lives of their victims. Over the years, though, there have been countless wars. Only 4 wars were devastating enough to be labeled as Great Ninja Wars. During those wars, there were several shinobi who were powerful enough to cause significant damage. While the first part of the series didn't focus on the wars too much, Shippuden was another story altogether. Not only did it emphasize wars in the backstories, but it covered the Fourth Great Ninja War as well. As such, fans learned more about the history and present scenario of the wars. However, that doesn't mean it's easy to determine the strongest shinobi in each of the Great Ninja Wars. There have been so many legendary shinobi over the years, all of whom contributed much during those trying times. Delve deeper to find out who the strongest shinobi was in every Great Ninja War. The first Great Ninja War, Hashirama Senju, master of the wood style ninjutsu right here. Kekkei Genkai. This was the first major conflict among the first great shinobi nations. Before the first war, the shinobi clans always fought against one another, but not on a level of a full-scale war. Hashirama and Madara worked their way to achieve peace, but at some point, the war started because the great nations taking resources from other countries and hidden villages. During that war, all first generation Kage and high level shinobi participated, but none were known to be as strong as Hashirama, the first Hokage. He was the first human to be bestowed with the title God of Shinobi, quote unquote. His efforts to prevent the war were in vain, and thus he had no choice but to participate in the war himself. No shinobi had ever been known to best him for decades. He used a unique wood-style jutsu, and he could easily restrain the Nine-Tails beast by using his giant wooden jutsu. As a direct descendant of the Senju clan, Hashirama had a massive reserve of chakra, and he was exceptionally skilled at nature transformation jutsu. Sadly, at some point in the war, Hashirama died, making Tobirama the second Hokage. Tobirama also contributed immensely to the battle and ended up sacrificing himself for the sake of his team. The second great ninja war, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, also known as the Professor. All right. Let's see. Just before Tobirama sacrificed himself, he handed over the title of Hokage to Hiruzen Sarutobi. As such, Hiruzen became the leader of the village and protected it by any means possible. Um, he was also known for leading the village for the longest period of time, directly responsible for all the decisions during both the Second and Third Great Ninja Wars. The Second War started shortly after the first, leaving very little time for the shinobi nations to recover. Although Hiruzen is not that favored among fans, he was a true legend and was known to have no equal during his prime days. Just like Hashirama, Hiruzen also earned the title God of Shinobi. Apart from that, he was also known by the alias Professor for his unprecedented versatility in ninjutsu. He had advanced knowledge and skill of all techniques to have ever existed in the Leaf, Konoha, including the hidden and even forbidden techniques such as the Death Reaper seal, Reaper Death Seal in the English anime, as it were. He was one of the rare shinobi capable of not only using but completely mastering nature transformation. Hiruzen survived all three great ninja wars, but tragically died during his battle with Orochimaru. By that point, of course, he was quite well into his years, probably in his 70s, I think. The third great ninja war, Minato Namikaze. The third war took place more than 10 years prior to the beginning of the series. This war was extremely brutal, forcing even children who didn't have much experience to fight. It was later revealed in the anime that Danzo was working in the shadows to orchestrate the war by having members of the root or foundation transform into Iwanin, or I believe that would be ninja from, let's see, I think that's ninja from the Hidden Stone Village. Iwa might be Hidden Stone, Iwi might be Hidden Rock. I think Hidden Stone Ninja. And frame the village to cause war between the two great nations. It was during this war that Obito nearly died and gave Kakashi his Sharingan. One of the key moments of the war was the infamous story of Minato single-handedly defeating over 1,000 shinobi from Iwagakari, or village hidden in the stone, eventually forcing a peace treaty. Minato's efforts during the war not only stopped the recurring conflicts between the great shinobi nations, but also earned him enough merits to be chosen as the fourth Hokage. He gained the title Yellow Flash, and until Naruto, no shinobi was able to match the speed of his attack. On top of his incredible speed, Minato invented Rasengan, a technique he developed after observing the nature of the tailed beast ball. A technique that he passed on to his teacher Jiraiya, who eventually passed it on to Minato's son Naruto. The fourth great ninja war, Naruto Uzumaki. The fourth war doesn't need any introduction. It was an elaborate ploy by Madara and Obito under the influence of Black Zetsu. In fact, the results of the third great ninja war were so significant that none of the shinobi nations was planning to start a war again. Even the fourth great ninja war only started in an attempt to stop Madara and his army. The war, though tragic, was a monumental event where all the great shinobi nations finally joined and declared peace among one another. This was the future that Hashirama had envisioned. Nonetheless, the war was brutal, as the shinobi not only had to face an entire army of white Zetsu, but also an army of reanimated shinobi, most of whom were extremely powerful. Naruto was training to control Kurama's chakra when the war commenced. Although he joined in on the action much later than anticipated, his contributions were significant. On top of controlling Kurama's power, he received the chakra of all the tailed beasts, making him a temporary 10-tailed Jinchuriki. Furthermore, he gained sage powers from Hagoromo Otsutsuki himself. Naruto's power by the end of the war was great enough to overwhelm Madara Uchiha and even Kaguya Otsutsuki. By the end of Shippuden, Naruto became the strongest shinobi in all of the great nations. Yep. Which would eventually lead to his dream of becoming Hokage too. Naruto would become the 7th Hokage. Let's see. 53 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Let's move on to the next article then. Here. Okay. I'm going to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. But what I will do is I'll put some music on before we get take a moment here. I'll be right back. I'm back, getting ready to move on to the next article here. Another one that kind of caught my attention here. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun and more included on Best Valentine's Day Anime Episode list. The wacky romantic comedy Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun headlines a list of the best Valentine's Day anime episodes in recent years. Article by Leo Reina, published 11 hours ago. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, the romantic comedy about a high school girl falling in love with her shoujo manga making senpai, is spotlighted in a list of best anime episodes about Valentine's Day. Wow, that's an interesting storyline there. That has a plot point in Doki Doki School Hours as well, as I recall. As you had a younger manga club member kind of admiring and eventually falling for Watabe. Anyways, J-List founder Peter Payne highlighted the 2014 anime series in his list of best Valentine's Day episodes that anime fans should rewatch on the special holiday. The episode in question is episode 12, quote, "If this feeling isn't love, then there is no love in the world," unquote, where Chiyo Sakura tries to give her crush, Umetaro Nozaki, the chocolate she bought for him for Valentine's Day 5 months later. Oh boy! Yikes! Chocolate sitting around for 5 months. Yeah, that really tells you that they love you. What are you trying to do? Get them sick? Oh man. On that fateful day, Nozaki was too busy racing all over school looking for inspiration for his shoujo manga. Despite the long delay, Sakura is determined to express her true feelings for her senpai. How? By poisoning him? Yeah. Those chocolates have probably got to go bad by that point. Valentine's Day invades anime. In addition to Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, Payne listed 10 other anime series with special Valentine's Day episodes. My Love Story, Ore Monogatari. And for those of you who just in case you weren't aware, Monogatari means story in Japanese. Let's see. Koi Cremo. It's disgusting to call this love. My senpai is annoying. Himoto Umara-chan, the pet girl of Sakurasu, or Sakura-sao. School Days, Code Geass, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Toradora, and teasing Master Takagi-san. The recommended episodes range from laugh out loud funny to emotionally engaging drama, encapsulating every complicated feeling that comes with falling in love. With the exception of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, anime listed on the J-List blog are primarily heterosexual in their depiction of love. However, there are anime that focus on LGBTQIA plus romances, including Buddy Daddies, The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess, and The Genius Young Lady. and Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. Additionally, there are, well, some people argue that they're not really depicting homosexual relationships in that one, but I guess it's left to each person's individual interpretation of that. But anyways, additionally, there are manga that depict homosexual relationships, like the Boys Love series Given by Natsuki Kizu, which became an anime series in 2019. There are even books that focus on relationships between older individuals, such as A Mature Girl's Love, Hana Monogatari, by the author known as Schwim. A Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun anime TV series ran from July 7th, 2014 to September 22nd, 2014. It's available to stream on High Dive. The original manga, created by Izumi Tsubaki, began in 2011 and is currently ongoing. A Chinese live-action adaptation of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. The comic Bang is in production with Zhong Qing as director. Shen Yue plays Zuo Kiandai Chio Sakura, while Yeki Umataro Nozaki is played by Zhang Huang. There we go. Try saying that 3 times fast. All right. I'm getting ready to move on to the next article here. Okay, we're just past the hour mark, okay? Let's see. Just seeing there's a lot of this stuff. All right, here's a release. Here's some release information here. So, why Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion anime sets official premiere date. Liana is set to strike a marriage deal with the Duke, with the reveal of why Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion premiere date. Article by Hilary Long, published 5 hours ago. Why Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion has confirmed its premiere date. According to the official Twitter account, the romance isekai series will begin streaming on April 10th on various Japanese platforms. For viewers outside of Japan, why Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion has found its streaming home on Crunchyroll. Yume Miyamoto from Tomachi Game and SSSS.Gridman will voice Rinko Hamasaki, Liano McMillan in the original manhwa, and Yuichiro Umehara, who is in Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered, but overly cautious in Goblin Slayer, will portray Noah Voltaire, Wind Knight, Rhea Liana's love interest. Rhea Liana's novel jumping journey. A trailer for the series arrived back in November, introducing Yunha Park, whose life is tragically cut short one night by a mysterious stranger who pushes her off the building. However, she doesn't quite die, instead wakes up in the body of Rhea Liana McMillan, a side character from a novel she was reading. Unfortunately, in the original novel, Rhea Liana's fiance ends up killing her. Determined to escape a second death, Rhea Liana hatches a plan, fake marry someone much more powerful and influential than her fiance. However, she may have bitten off more than she can chew after striking up a deal with Noah Winwright. Helmed by Typhoon Graphics of One Room and Sengoku Night Blood, why Rhea Liana ended up at the Duke's mansion will have Junichi Yamamoto of Urusei Yatsura and Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, directing, with Mitsutaka Hirota of Digimon Adventure Try and Eden Zero as the scriptwriter. Haruna Hashimoto of Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia will design the characters, while Keiji Inai, from the Misfit of Demon King Academy and Star Wars Visions, will compose the soundtrack. The ending theme song, Always and Forever, in parentheses there, sung by Sera, can be heard playing in the trailer. Other cast members include Shuichiro Umeda, Shunichi Toki, Akira Ishida, Tomokazu Sugita, and Yumika Yano. Why Rhea Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion started as a web novel written by Milcha in September 2016 before it underwent a manhwa adaptation in Kakao Page a year later with illustrations by Whale. The web novel consists of 3 volumes, while the manhwa has been collected into 7 volumes. Yen Press is licensing the manhwa for a physical release, but fans can read all 3 seasons digitally via Tapitoon. Why Rhea Liana ended up at the Duke's Mansion will debut its first episode on April 10th. All right, so there we go with that one. All right, let's see. Where are we at on time here? All right, so I think that's enough there. We just did animated. We focused on comics and cartoons the last couple of nights. So I guess it was a good night to just focus in on anime here. Let's see. With it being 1:12 now, I think we'll go ahead and start. Move on to the wrestling wrap up. There is some news, and even a little bit of tragic news. We'll get to that in a moment, of course, here. All right. So, anyways, first off in WWE news, I think on Monday Night's Raw they did actually have. I guess there was the signing for the Lashley Lesnar match at Elimination Chamber. So that match, I think, will be part of that as well. We've already kind of gone over some of the other match. I don't know if that match was for. Hold on, I should probably double check that. That match for Elimination Chamber or for Royal Rumble. That or not Royal Rumble, but WrestleMania. Of course, this Saturday's Elimination Chamber does have some ramifications um, for setting up, next month's. But yeah, I guess that was for WrestleMania. So, the main event for this Saturday's Elimination Chamber is Roman Reigns defending the unified titles against Sami Zayn. You also have on the card, you have a mixed tag match between Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley of the Judgment Day, and then you have two Elimination Chamber matches. One's for a number one contenders match, the Raw Women's title, in which you have participating in that Natalya, Asuka, Nikki Cross, Carmella, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez all participating in that one. In the other Elimination Chamber match, it's for the United States heavyweight title as Austin Theory defends against Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. Now, some other news that was coming out due in part to the promo that they did on Monday night. There is some talk that the main event for WrestleMania will be changed. Right now, it's set to be Cody taking on Roman for the unified titles, I believe, or at least for one of the titles there. However, with Sami Zayn's popularity continuously growing, it is being kind of talked about, fleshed about a bit here that they might actually try to have a triple threat match, a three-way match between Roman, Sami, and Cody. So right now, night one of WrestleMania has Roman Reigns defending the unified titles against Cody Rhodes and Charlotte Flair defending the SmackDown Women's title against Rhea Ripley, as Cody and Rhea were the Royal Rumble winners this year in their respective. So that's kind of what we got for you there. So let's see. So aside from that piece of news, let's see. So now we'll go on to some AEW. Now, as you guys know, right now, AEW has Dynamite on tonight. From what I understand, the main event supposed to be a tornado tag team match pitting Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Tassinoli and John Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club. Going up against Roosh and Preston Vance in a that actually happened earlier in the night. So apparently this is the way the cards ran out. The main event is actually the three-way match between Ruby Soho, Toni Storm, and Britt Baker in a battle over in an angle they've been working where they all of a sudden had turned Toni Storm and Saraya heel recently in order to go with the whole Invader versus original angle that's been played out time and time again in a number of federations, where of course Saraya and Storm are training the invaders or the people are coming in, as kind of the Johnny Come Latelys against people like Britt Baker, current AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter, who are representing the quote unquote AEW originals. Adam Page was set to take on Kip Sabian tonight. Brian Cage in a rematch against Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Mark Briscoe looking to settle an old score with Josh Woods. And then, of course, the opening match was an 8-man tag match that had Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Satman Singh, and Sanjay Dutt taking on the Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, and AEW All-Atlantic Champion Orange Cassidy. Now, of course, and MJF was set to be there tonight. RJ is set to have a sit-down interview with Wardlow, talking about his return a couple of weeks ago and what he has plans for his feud with Samoa Joe. And then Renee Paquette had a sit-down with Adam Cole for his return. Let's see. And of course, right now, there is at least one match set for AEW's March 5th pay-per-view, Revolution. Actually, there's 3 matches. So, Bryan Danielson survived the quote-unquote gauntlet that was thrown out to him by MJF. So now he's going to get a shot at the AEW World Title in a 60-man Iron Man match. John Moxley, it looks like they have John Moxley signed to face Hangman Page in a Texas Death match. And then there's going to be a 4-way match for the AEW World Tag Titles, as the Guns will be defending the titles against the Acclaimed and 2 other teams. So, now, it was on a recent edition of his podcast, Dax Harwood came out and had some choice words for the Guns and their victory, and had some criticisms over it, essentially accusing them of not paying their dues. Saying that, they get their opportunities because of who their daddy is, and all that. So maybe FTR makes their return to the States in that match. We won't know for sure until. And also another announcement for AEW fans out there. They are going to be starting up some house shows now. Prior to this year, all their shows were televised, were television shows. But now they will be having. Why did I do that? But they will be having house shows now. AW will be having house shows. Coming up in the near future. So you'll want to be looking out for those. Now, one last piece of wrestling news, a bit of sad news for the wrestling industry, as former Memphis Memphis wrestler and promoter Jerry Jarrett passed away yesterday, at the age of 80. After battling an illness with esophageal cancer. Jerry Jarrett started his wrestling career in the 60s, 1965 to be specific, where he basically was a mainstay. He was a mainstay in Tennessee, but also did work in Georgia, Alabama, and throughout the kind of southeastern part of the United States. Before starting to do some promotional work in NWA Mid-America in the early 70s, where he would be the booker for the Memphis territory. Eventually, by 1977, he and Jerry Lawler had decided to split from Nick Goulas's uh, Mid America promotion. Started up the promotion. The official name of the promotion was Continental Wrestling Association. Most people remember it as either Memphis Wrestling or um, or or Mid Southern Wrestling. He would continue promoting. He would continue promoting under the promotion up until 1995 through, of course, its days as a CWA Continental Wrestling Association, going from being an NWA affiliate to an AWA affiliate in 1988 and then in 1988 they would merge with World Class Championship Wrestling to become the USWA after some issues started up between Jerry Lawler and the AWA during his AWA World Title run, and then would of course continue to promote the USWA up until 1995 when he retired. Then came back into the spotlight in 2002 when he and his son started up Total Nonstop Action, TNA Wrestling, which of course initially started out as an NWA affiliate. It would start that up, and then I think he would leave shortly after. But that was a promotion. When TNA was founded, now known as Impact, when it was initially founded, it was basically came into existence to serve as a competitor to the WWE at the time. Basically taking over the role of WCW, as WCW had been bought up and absorbed into the WWE the year prior. So, Jerry Jarrett, legendary wrestling promoter, wrestler, passed away yesterday at the age of 80. So right now what I'm going to do, we're going to observe a moment of silence for him. And we just send our thoughts and prayers to the Jarrett family in this time. All right. With that being said, let's now move on to this day in each history. Today being Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! Just remind myself of a few things here. 43, 63, and 73. Okay. All right, so first off, we're going to head back 80 years ago today. Is on this date, 80 years ago today, on this day, 80 years ago today, the 5th issue of Dollman, which initially started out as Dollman Quarterly, went on sale on this date back in 1943, 80 years ago today. It sold for 10 cents. It was basically a feature book, a quarterly feature book featuring primarily Dollman and a number of different adventures, as was the case. It was published by Quality Comics. Dollman, of course, among the many characters that DC picked up from Quality, as he, along with a number of others, would become part of the Freedom Fighters in the 70s. But on this date, 80 years ago today, the 5th issue of Dollman went on sale on this date in 1943, 80 years ago today. So with that, let's move on to the next piece of niche history. Okay, and you, of course, can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Also, If anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that, moving on to the next piece of niche history here. On this date, back 60 years ago today, in 1963, during an event in Omaha, Nebraska at the All-Star Wrestling Omaha event, the Crusher would win the Omaha version of the World Heavyweight Championship from Vern Gagne on this date back in 1963. Now, I believe All-Star Wrestling Omaha may have had some kind of working agreement with the AWA where they had their talents there. But on this day in 1963, from Omaha, Nebraska, the Crusher would defeat Vern Gagne for Omaha's claim to the World Heavyweight Championship at the All-Star Wrestling Omaha event. With that, getting ready to move on to the next piece of history and another piece of sad news for his family at that time. As on this date in 1973, Wally Cox, voice actor, passed away at the age of 48, I believe. 48. I think he was involved, according to this, involved in a car accident. Let's see. Oh, no. He was found dead in his home at the age of 48. And so he suffered a heart attack caused by a coronary conclusion. So, on this date, back in 1973, Wally Cox, who for cartoon fans, he was the voice of Underdog. Anybody here may remember the cartoon Underdog. This is the guy who provided Underdog's voice. So, passed away at the age of 48 on this date back in 1973. So with that, guys, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Hope you got a lot out of the content, and I hope those who watch this on the replay will get a lot out of the content. Also, don't forget, we'll be back here with more niche news tomorrow. Also, we will be, of course, Friday, I will have Chris and Diane Tomolovich as my co-host as we finish up our time in August of 1939, comics that went on sale in August of 1939. We'll be focusing on quality comics, feature comics volume 1, number 25, Smash Comics, volume 1, number 6. We'll, of course, be going over, The Clock, Visible Hood, Black X, and maybe even some Lollapalooza and Dixie Dugan. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Bye.